good. Everything should be good live here. All right, so it's going to be another one of our fun VOD reviews. This is from Open Division this weekend. This is the Saturday game. I haven't had a chance to review it yet, so we're going to be kind of jumping in together and checking this out. Just want to make sure I've got everything that I need here. All right, for sound volume looks good. Let's take a look here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just jump right in and see what we can find.
Can never level up again.
I know, dude, I can't play this match. I had to leave.
Is there a custom lobby I'm supposed to be in?
No.
Or do I wait?
You can't have spectators.
You
can watch Apollo on stream. There's a 3-minute delay.
There was a 3-minute delay.
Game will be over by then, but you know.
Yeah.
Almost started.
I'll just listen.
Okay.
I'll mute myself.
Oh god, my characters haven't loaded. I don't know what's happening. Oh, there's my...
Yeah, man.
It's been acting weird. I had a map to where my enemies, all my friendlies were enemy colors, and all the enemies were friendly colors, and then it fixed after I died once.
Where's the Google Doc?
That's weird.
Yeah, it was really.
All right, let's jump into our first problem here, guys. I know that we were all super excited about playing Open Division this week. I know that last time I did one of these coaching sessions, one of these reviews, one of the things I talked about was our pre-game strategy. Now, I know that we went in and started going over, you know, possible configurations that we're going to be using per map. We're kind of breaking that down as we go. But I'm still not hearing what I requested last time we did one of these, and that's a little more focused, calm chatter when it comes to the pregame here. I don't feel, no matter how good we may be doing, that we're in a spot where we shouldn't be having this discussion, like, right now. Like, we should be having this be the time. What are we playing? What map is it? These are the questions that should be getting asked the moment we load into a map like this.
Weird.
It's pinned in there. But we don't have anything on Nepal because I think we...
Okay, the supports we need to run are Lucio, Zen, and Brig.
Okay, there we go.
And then we
Now
can
we're
either run
starting to
3
get it.
tanks or 2 tanks and DPS.
There we go. There's the con talk.
That's it.
I'll hold left click.
Just play whatever y'all
Let's do
feel
it.
most comfortable with.
That's looking pretty.
If you don't feel comfortable with your character, let us know now.
And yeah, if we're gonna run that, and if somebody wants to switch over with me, I can. Whatever. We have people to switch off with.
I think I just hit the ball out of the basket. I'm sorry, boys.
Can't wait to hold left click behind you.
Oh,
Guys.
you guys are already in lobby or in game. Never mind.
Yes.
Don't worry.
48
boys,
more
I got
seconds.
some, for days. I actually...
Don't stream that. Cut that out of the stream.
Put that in the stream.
Good luck, guys and girl.
Here's a speed boost.
Which side are we going?
Left.
Straight to
Main? Which
Straight to
main?
main.
Go main.
That's improvement. That's one of
They
the
have a
things
Lucio.
we were talking about before was
Sorry,
getting that initial where are we going, what are we doing, like this is already the comms are starting to sound so much better than the last time we did one of these reviews.
So,
Following you
Tracer
now.
Hunter?
Tracer behind.
I'm watching behind. I'm watching Tracer.
Lucio behind. Lucio and Trisha behind on the right.
Following you
Left,
now.
left.
I got killed by
Do the Hundo.
Hand low, hand low, hand low.
Tracer behind on me.
I'm gonna switch to Genji.
I'm shooting shield as much as I can.
I'm
Following
dead,
you
I'm
now.
dead, I'm dead. I got right click.
Tracer's discorded. I had an orb on.
Just need to focus that front line.
I'm dead.
Just we would have won that.
So what was our initial problem going into this is what we have to kind of ask ourselves. Like, what made us lose that first engagement? We had some good calls that were obviously being made. When the Hanzo is low, we managed to focus down the Hanzo and, you know, take that. But what's our win condition in this situation?
I'm watching behind. I'm watching Tracer.
Like, when we're looking at this bit by bit, what's that win condition that we need to have won that confrontation that we were in? I think that we were going into this initial conflict, and while we may have been warmed up and have played a little bit prior to the match going in, it still feels like we're a little bit cold.
Left.
Straight to
Main?
We're
Straight
going
to main.
in,
Go main.
right? We say what lane we're going to. We begin to
Have a
push
Lucio.
in, right?
Left.
Then
Tracer
everything
Tracer,
behind.
Tracer, left side.
Doubling
everything
you now.
kind of scatters,
Tracer behind.
right?
I'm watching behind. I'm watching Tracer.
Like, where's our target focus at this point, right? It still feels like everybody's kind of shooting and ducking and dodging and trying to get a feel for what they need to be doing for the engagement when we need to be a little bit tighter.
Lucio behind, Lucio behind. Lucio and Trisha behind on the
One
right.
bumping you
Left,
now.
left.
I got killed by Hanzo.
See the Hanzo, Hanzo, Hanzo,
Hand low,
Hanzo.
hand low,
Hanzo
hand
low.
low, hand low.
Tracer behind on me.
Hanzo's dead. I'm gonna switch to Genji.
I'm shooting
So
shield
good
as
call
I
out on
can.
the switch.
I'm
Doubling
dead,
you
I'm
now.
dead, I'm dead. I got right click.
Tracer's supported. I had an orb on.
Just need to focus that front line.
I'm dead.
Just we would have won that.
I almost wonder if in that situation where we see that we're losing the initial fight, if say we get down 2 people and we notice that we haven't really been able to get any of the enemy team down, let's ask ourselves at that point, do we pull back and just regroup and then try and push back in and just give them a couple points of tick? Or do we keep trying to press the enemy team and put ourselves kind of in a position where we're most likely going to die, but they don't get any ticks on the board? I don't know. It's a weird trade-off that we're looking at here when you're watching this whole thing go down. I think that we would have been better off in this particular play. And once we've lost our first couple teammates, just pull back, regroup. We knew that we were going to have beta swap over to that Genji. And then push in together as a team at that point, and then maybe take the advantage from there.
Tracer's top left. Yeah, she should be right there somewhere. Beta.
Just be boost us.
I'll just use it. It's up in 5.
Tracer.
She missed
You
it.
can push in, just push in.
I need heals. I need heals.
I have an orb on you. Got hammered
Okay.
down.
So the first initial conflict has happened, right? We've engaged, we've lost, we are getting ready to go engage again. And let's go back to comms for a second here, right? That Reinhardt had his hammer. And nowhere in that discourse, as we were leading back into the second fight, were we hearing, Ryan might have hammer, right? We should have been paying attention to our kill cam. We should have been, be mindful of those things, because we didn't know if he was going to have hammer, but it was a very real possibility at that point. I mean, Reinhardt has one of the fastest, building ults in the game, so there was going to be a good chance he was going to have it. And that ultimately you can tell right there, because we were not prepared for that ultimate to happen. That ended up taking us out in the next confrontation.
I'm dead.
Just we would have won that.
Tracer's top left. Yeah, she should be right there somewhere. Beta.
Just be boost us.
I'll just use it. It's up in 5.
Tracer.
She missed
You
it.
can push in, just push in.
I need heals. I need heals.
I have an orb on you. Got hammered down. There's a Tracer on me in the back. I'm dead.
So Ryan.
There's a Tracer Hanzo behind.
Zary's on me.
Mana.
The DPS are behind.
Yeah, I need help with the back line a lot.
Yeah, I feel like when we go into this engagement, if you come back here and the hammer hits at that point, because we haven't been able to gain any points, we haven't been able to kind of dominate the battlefield in the early game, it almost feels like everybody's a little shaken at this point. We've lost the initial confrontation, we move in, and then hammer down happens, a bunch of us get stunned, and we go, well, shit, what do we do? And you can almost see that we're having trouble kind of recovering from the surprise of what just happened.
Hammer down. There's a Tracer on me in the back. I'm dead.
So Ryan.
There's a Tracer Hanzo behind.
Zarya's on me.
The DPS are behind.
Yeah, I need help with the back line.
In a situation like that, I know that we're going in and really targeting the tanks, but let me rewind here for just a second. So we go into the engagement.
I'll just use it as something fast.
Tracer.
She missed it.
Yeah, push in, just push in.
I need his.
Oh, we're one. Got hammered down.
At this point, where are their squishies, right?
In the back. I'm
We
dead.
see that we're engaging with the tanks, you know, as one is tend to do. But what's stopping us from really going around in there and focusing that Moira that's right there, you know, just healing up the tanks? Sure, we're building alt charge, but there's a target of opportunity that if we were a little bit more focused, that like I think the outcome would have been very different, because we find ourselves, you know, focusing on the tanks, and you'll watch it as we go back through this, and I'll show you. Like, go out of this. We go in.
We're
Hammer down.
Got hammered down.
And then our target focus remains on the tanks at that point.
There's a Tracer Hanzo behind.
But
Zarya's on me.
The DPS are behind.
Yeah, I need help with the back line.
I think that our focus on the tanks, which obviously you're going to need to focus on tanks, they are a very important part of the enemy team composition. I think that if our callouts were a little bit stronger in that section, we could have gone into some real targets of opportunity. We could have said, target that Moira, she's out of position, or, you know, this brig is over here. We need everybody to be on that brig right now and turn and focus that brig. Maybe that would have turned the tide of battle during that engagement.
I don't live more than like 3 seconds the back line.
Remember, we need to work on that.
I am.
It's not positioning, it's just that there's a Hanzo and Tracer behind at all times.
Come.
Come with me to the left side.
So Crest makes an excellent point there. She's saying that, you know, there's a Hanzo Tracer in the back line the whole time, which is an important observation and good bit of information to be fed to our team. I think that we should be more self-aware for when statements like that are made. Obviously, she's telling us where, you know, the position of these characters are during our engagements, but we should almost kind of be asking ourselves at that point, okay, what can we do with that information? Can we get to that backline and get to them? Would that be the thing that would maybe turn everything around at this point? You know, we're halfway through our ticks on the clock. Do we try and almost dive in to those squishies and try and take the advantage from there? Do we just try and brute force our way through the tanks? And I think that that's what we're doing at this point, is we're really trying to brute force our way through the tanks, and that's really not our win condition. It's obvious their tanks are taking us to task as we do those engagements. What do we need to change? Do we need to get, you know, Genji in that back line engaging with those squishies so that they're staying off of everybody else? So yeah, just dissect that bit of information. You know, when somebody on the team says, the Hanzos and the Tracer are in the back line, what do we do with that information? Do we just you should never just let the information sit. You can almost respond at that point and say, all right, so do you want us to dive on the squish? You know, how do we want to change our engagement? Because right now we're repeating the same engagement over and over again and kind of expecting a different result.
I'm gonna
grab the side.
Speed boost.
Grabbing now.
This is low.
Tracer on me, Tracer, I'm dead.
I'm on Zarya right now.
Need to use portals there.
I didn't have it.
Chasing a recall.
Minus half.
Tracer on the side.
Zarya dead.
I'm ult, now.
Come on, I'm just like. They're put low, right low.
No more.
Tracer on the side.
More as well, 1-on-1.
Hanzo's discorded. Tracer's up still.
Tracer dead.
All right, so obviously I've got to give you credit where credit's due here. We managed to go in, secure the point, take out the enemy team, and begin to push forward. Let's be real here. That was sloppy, right? The engagement itself was sloppy. We won purely using brute force, just being able to basically out-survive them, right? It didn't feel that there was any tactical advantage that we had. It was just you level up your character to level 99 and go hit the last boss on the head. You just did it because you overpowered them in that way. And that's not a way that we should be handling our engagements, right? Our engagements need to be strategic as we go into them, right? We go into these things and we say, tracer, 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 brig, 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 brig. We're repeating ourselves. And I know that we have this conversation almost every time that I do one of these reviews, that we need to be not just saying what needs to be said, but also responding in kind to that. When earlier when we had that engagement and Hanzo was at 1, you did see everybody turn to attack that Hanzo. And that right there is what we need to do to like the 1000th degree at this point, right? Like that engagement worked so well. We got that Hanzo killed because everybody turned and focused. Whereas in this last engagement, we went in, we brute forced our way in. Yes, we take the point at that point, but kind of at what cost, because everything's still kind of messy and disorganized.
Are we still grabbing treads?
We listen to him.
I got booked out.
That's shatter.
I'm on right.
We can go around. We're gonna Zarya next. They're gonna transit.
Oh damn.
Okay.
All right, so
That's their only win
again,
condition, so we just gotta safe transfer that.
Again,
no, that was my bad.
where
I
are
thought
discussions
with the
of what the
transfer
enemy's ult charge is at,
Sorry, we'll get him next turn.
right? We need to be able to be
I'm thinking
making
I might
those
go
calls
just diva
all
or
the
some shit
time.
to eat.
You right? If you're playing Reinhardt,
Okay.
get a feel for when they're going to be hammering.
Because like
Do you think that Hanzo may have
just wasn't
dragon?
getting
Right?
anything
It's
out of
very
Genji
obvious.
or
There's
Hanzo.
Genji just doesn't work with this comp.
It's very obvious that the enemy team loves their ults. Obviously, ults in Overwatch do change the flow of combat, but being able to anticipate and counter those ults is as much, if not more important, right? It isn't just about building your ult charge, which is what they're doing, right? They just want to they just want to get their ults charged and fire them off and use that to basically take the map. And what we need to be doing is actively thinking about countering those ults so that they're wasting their ults, so that when we do get our ult charge, we can then take the advantage on the field. Shutting them down and shutting down their ultimates at every turn should be a win condition. And that process only starts when we call out what we think their ults are at.
For me, my biggest problem was just I kept getting killed by Tracer all the time.
Yeah, remember Beta, you were the one that told me when we were playing comp that Genji doesn't work with Ryan and Zarya.
What? No, I said Genji doesn't work.
We go
with
top
just,
left.
like when you duo. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's Genji Zarya as the use grab.
We're top left. Noodles. Hum.
I'm gonna speed us to the door when we get it.
He wants me to this right now.
Okay.
So before this first
wait,
engagement,
y'all.
my question to you is, did we all just assume that no real changes were going to be made to our comp? And if not, why? And I get that maybe we may have this penned out that that's going to be our comp and that's what you're going to be running for the map. But obviously, you've lost the first round. It then becomes imperative to ask, okay, what worked, what didn't? I know that there's not a lot of time between the rounds, but even just flat out asking the words, do we need to make any swaps? And if everybody goes, no, we're good, we just had sloppy engagements, we didn't focus our targets, that's fine. That is absolutely fantastic. But that question always needs to be being asked. If you lose the round, do we need to change anything, right? Do we need to change any heroes? Do we need to change the way that we're approaching, the enemy team? Are we not finding what the win condition is, right? These are all the things that we need to be actively thinking about, and it's so much to think about in such a fast-paced game, but that is what makes the difference between, some scrub team and the people that are going to be taking over and winning open division.
I'm at 20% now.
You guys gotta push like hard.
We got booed.
Tracer behind.
Me too.
Tracer got me. Or Hosta got me.
Like our comp should just run right through them.
Ran low.
Yep.
Everyone's dead.
How many did you to go taxi our team?
My will is unbroken.
I should have grabbed this fight.
Yeah, I should have rallied too.
I'm ready. Opening you
Yep.
now.
Speed us in. Speed us in.
Alright, discorded.
Zarya's discorded.
Good, sorry.
Tracer got me. I'm
Where's
dead.
that?
Tracer
Where's that?
behind.
I'm Zarya now. I'm a Zarya now.
Oh, I don't need that.
Tracer
Sorry,
gone.
low.
Good
Tracer
point.
behind us. Yes, good point.
Tracer coming back.
And
Hanzo's up top.
Push up the bridge.
Nice. I have bombs.
Where's main?
Mars main, yeah.
Somebody do better. I think Lucio's up here
Lucius.
still.
I'm gonna play on bridge.
Tracer's going far right, I think. I saw.
Yeah.
Big one a point.
You're on right.
I've grabbed ready.
Yep.
Yep.
Lucio's discorded. I don't have trans.
Lucio's dead.
I'm on the right.
I got pinned
See, we
out. I
should
got
have been
pinned out.
anticipating all those
Their Moore is
ults.
dead. They have no heals. They have no heals.
I feel like we're going to keep hammering this point home until we finally break ourselves of that habit. We need more communication about ults because there it was all over again. We got lucky we were able to block the hammer that time going into it. The Reinhardt was he had to tell that that's what he was moving in to do. The question then was that Hanzo charged? Was he going to be able to fire off dragons? If so, do we need to scatter essentially to let him waste it?
Work together, work together. We don't have to do
I'm a
this.
Zarya. Side though.
Your healers are coming back.
It's too late.
Oh, never mind. They won't come back.
I'm not getting trans fast enough.
Go here.
They used grab rest of that fight, right? What do they have?
Tracer on top.
They might have coalescence.
Do they use shadow?
There we go. Now we're starting to talk about it.
I'm bubbling you up.
Tracer discorded.
One Ryan.
I'm all right.
Yep.
I'm with
He's
you.
behind. She's discorded. She's low.
I think he has shield anymore. Double
I was
double
behind
you.
left.
Bubbling you now. Right slow.
Reinhardt discorded.
He's one. He's one.
Tracer behind.
Zarya's low, Zarya's low,
Zarya
Zarya's low.
low.
Play on point. Play on point. Play on point.
Yep.
Zarya's still low. Zarya's still low. I think. Not sure anymore.
Watch out, I'm pinned off.
Fuck.
I have trans.
We gotta win. We gotta win this fight. Or we
Go to
lose.
Lucio.
Yep.
Lucio.
There's a Reinhardt coming up top.
Now on Tracer.
I'm
Try to stun that
almost
Moira.
back, I'm almost back.
I don't have a stun.
I got hit by that.
He got me. You can kill that. Nice.
Moira got away.
I just almost back. Nice, guys.
You have a fair now, so Diva, it's up to you.
Alright.
Keep her discorded, and then all you gotta do is just shift up to her.
I'm coming
Yeah.
with you.
Where is she?
They're gonna have grab. That's
Oh, yeah,
what they're going after.
Mars,
She's
main right
playing right now.
She's main. Alright. I see her. She's discorded.
Tracer bottom left.
Play close together, guys.
I have grab coming up. Bubbling you now.
Mars dead. Mars dead.
Right low.
Ryan,
I'm using my ult. I'm using mine.
Ryan's dead. Ryan's dead.
Good.
Tracer. Oh, Zarya discorded. Zarya discorded.
It's Lucio.
Lucio discorded.
Vader, come here. Nice.
Some more right side.
I can tell you already that the comm chatter that I'm hearing right here is already such a vast improvement from where we were a few weeks ago.
We're escaping. There we go.
Far, don't let her touch. Oh, she won't touch. Never mind.
Ryan's left.
Oh, Ryan might touch.
Ryan can touch. Ryan can touch.
No,
Ryan.
no, he's not.
Good job,
I got
guys.
Score 1-1.
So Becca, you're not getting trans fast enough?
No, I wasn't because the Tracer kept killing me in the beginning.
Here, let me play Zen.
Okay. What do I
Do
get?
you want to go?
You want Brig? I can play Diva.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna go left side. We're gonna go all the way around.
Stay behind Badger.
All the way around. Yeah. Do the mega room.
Do the mega.
Alright.
Rotate to their side.
Yeah, we're gonna rotate onto him.
Okay, cool.
I want to
saw
try to stay
that
away
being
from that pit because we can easily get booped into it. We need to speed boost. One Ryan. One Ryan.
Bubbling in now.
Done.
Yeah, Pharah.
Should boop.
Zarya.
Point.
Zarya, no
Then go
personal.
Zarya.
Yep.
Yep.
Got him,
There.
got him.
Bubbling in now.
Keep that Farah Discord.
Yeah, she's
so I can
Discord,
get back.
Oh fuck.
Mercy low, can low.
You're good. The Hanzo's escaping, our side. Yeah, he
He
reset.
comes up.
So good job.
Hey,
Need you to go taxi Arzan.
yeah, I'm coming back really slowly. I'll try to keep the far Discord.
5 seconds for armor.
Again, where's our
One left side.
alt consideration? Obviously, we've won the engagement, but
Hey, far, right side,
Far's
right side.
outside.
With the
Far's
Mercy,
dead.
with the Mercy,
Far's
with the
dead.
Mercy.
Protect
Mercy.
She can't rest. She's up. She's up.
I'm behind, main side.
1 second for armor.
Come back, point.
I have armor yet.
Mercy low.
Your far is gonna come back right now.
Just try
Got
down
him.
point. Good lose.
do you hear what happened there?
She can't rest. She's up.
I'm behind, main side.
1 second for armor.
Come back, point.
I have armor yet.
There's chatter, and then there's not.
Mercy low.
Your far is gonna come back right now.
Just try
Got
down
him.
point. Good lose.
That engagement went from all of the communication, all of the comm chatter, to radio silence. And whether or not that was because our bodies started dropping, it didn't help the situation that everybody went quiet in that second, right? Nobody was focusing a target. Everybody was in their own engagements, and we're not talking about the engagements they were in.
We had a good dive point. Alright, we made him use that.
That's good.
They solo ulted Badger, dude.
Sometimes it be like that, boys.
We got
They really do, honestly.
Well, that's huge because they don't have that for next. They don't have that for when
Yeah.
we.
Are we 6? Alright.
no sleep.
They don't have sleep.
She was. No. It's good.
I'm using it.
I don't have
Go right
chance.
side, go right.
Farah's on the right side.
I don't have armor. There we go. I have enough.
I'm
Just
rematching
wipe.
this.
Just wipe.
Oh,
Okay.
No, we win this.
sorry,
No?
man.
No, there's.
I'm capping this.
Apollo, you're crazy.
Oh, I'm gonna get pinned.
Well, then let's go on.
Just fed.
This is dead. I have trans coming up.
Desire point.
Just
Desire
Ryan's on me.
point.
Ryan's on me right side.
I'm coming back. I'm not there yet.
Desire point if you can. Just keep on solid.
Fight is not over.
Oh no, shit. I'm sorry.
That's better.
Far dead.
I wonder, going into these engagements, if do we feel, and this is a question for all of you that will be watching this, do you feel going into these engagements that we were counter picking properly? Can you say with confidence that when they made that swap to Farah, that we counter-picked accordingly? And I'm not being that guy on your comp team that says, oh, we need to switch to a soldier. If you feel comfortable that we had Diva and that Diva is there to take out and handle the pharmacy, fine. I'm on board. I just need to know if you feel that you did everything in your power to counterpick the changes that they were making on the field at the time.
Discord? Far still Discord?
Me Diva coming back.
Badger's in the back.
You gotta help Badger.
Oh, you're anti. We can't do anything.
Oh shit.
Bubbling you. Not bubbling you.
Yeah, he's anti.
I got the fair.
We still got it. We still got it. We can get this. We can get this. Nice, nice, nice. Shoot, shoot, shoot. There's Zarya. Left side, left side. Go. Speed, speed.
Just no personal, no personal.
She's one. She's one. She's one. Okay, come back. Come back. Back. I'm going to get better.
We're gonna. No, I'm good. We're gonna play. We're gonna play close. We're gonna play close.
I'm close right
Yeah,
now.
close
They're
fight.
coming in.
Because it doesn't give their fair. We can't get their fair room.
Bubbling you. Die first. Die first. Die first. I'm split off.
Ryan's behind, Ryan's behind.
They're behind. They're behind.
I'm on
I
point.
don't have
I'm on point.
armor yet. I see Ren.
As far, as far, as far.
Parallel, parallel. So low.
Alright, good.
I killed both healers. Both healers down.
I
They
stunned
can't.
Ren.
There's no way.
They
There's
have
no way.
healers, dude.
They can't touch. Do this. Hey, good job, guys. Good job.
So going into these first set of maps, obviously it's easy to ride the high of having won them, especially after having lost the first one pretty brutally. I'm going to be honest, like that first one was just messy, and I'm sensing a theme here. Some of these engagements are not feeling as clean and as focused as they should be. We don't want to learn bad habits, right? We don't want to win games with sloppy gameplay, right? We're winning by brute forcing our way into a situation. We're not focusing our targets. Maybe we're not counter picking enough. We can't let the win go to our head at that point. We do need to tighten these things up. We do need to be focusing these targets. We need to be calling out these ultimates. And you're going to hear me continuously say that throughout this video, because that is a big weakness for us right now, right? It made us lose one of those first engagements, not anticipating what the enemy's counter looked like. So if I can, as of right now, just hammer down one point that needs to change before the next open division match, it's that we got to get those callouts for all enemy ultimates. Like, just flat out, it has to happen.
Play of the game.
Good job.
I'm your leader, remember?
Fire at will.
Now it's up to them. If they want to run our route. Okay.
Jeez, I'm cold. I'm gonna put on a sweater.
That's the adrenaline.
Oh.
Guys, I know that we talked about this last time. I know that we're between matches, but I want to hear that comm chatter from y'all, man. I really want to hear that. Okay, do we want to stick with the same setup that we were using last time? Do we want to change it? Does anybody need to swap out? Think of it just like you're taking care of a friend. You know, do you need some water? Do you need, would you like to go get something to eat? Ask them the important questions that shows them that you care. You are showing the team that you care about winning by engaging them in the conversations of, okay, do we change the configuration? Or once they've figured out what map we're on, saying, okay, what are we running for this map? And from the get-go having that conversation.
He really wanted to watch him press Q, man. Poach him.
Also, real quick, to kind of come back to an earlier point from the last VOD review, don't forget about the psychology of the game when you're playing against other teams like this, right? Everybody's riding high on the fact that you guys just won this first map, but nobody's asking the questions like, okay, what can we change? What can we do better? Do we expect them to run the same comp? Discussing the other team and the strategies to approach them is such a vital and important aspect of going into these matches. We shouldn't have time where things are silent or, you know, we're just hanging out and just having random chatter. I know it's easy to fall into those habits. Everybody's friends, everybody's having a good time. But really, this should be the time where you sit down and go, okay, what did we do? What did we do right? What did we do wrong? We have the breathing room between these maps to correct course and make our gameplay tighter from the way that it was in that first map.
Do we want to make any swaps?
Is Kuda here yet?
Yeah.
Oh, he is? You can swap him out for me if you want.
Are you still here, Kuda?
Yeah. Wait, am I talking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yo, you good, man?
I may have woken up at 1:55.
Do you want to get swapped in?
Or do you want like either now
That's
or
not my call. I just do what I'm told.
Well, it's Route 66.
I'll
Fine.
play it if he's too tired.
Oh, I'm fine with anything. It's you guys' call.
Are you good to play?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Wait, is that the account he's on, like 4OD though?
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
He's not under CUDA? Interesting.
No.
I don't like that account. I actually like that account. It has all my skins, but this one's better.
Bro, that's why I don't use this account either.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Okay.
Fast for a little bit.
66.
All right.
Prepare
I don't know why it does that.
defenses. Select your hero.
See, we're falling into bad
This map,
habits
do we
again.
want like an Ana Zen, Ana Lucio?
Turn on his Zen. I don't think these guys are very good, so we can just run dive on them.
Okay.
All right, so let's go fast for a little
He
bit.
just kills a little bit slower, but
Are you gonna hack cave?
Nate.
Oh, what left side?
3 DPS?
Oh, they got Pharaoh. They got a lot of damage. If there was nothing else, probably. And then no Nate.
Oh, what left side?
3 DPS then?
Yeah, 3.
I see the Widow. I'm a jumper. Ready for jumper. I'm not DM too fast.
Watch
You
out!
guys are-
I can't beat.
In this first engagement, you guys are making the first fucking cardinal sin of running a dive comp, and that's running a dive comp and not calling dive targets. Let's be very real about that, all right? If we're gonna run dive, we gotta act like we're running dive 110%.
Junkrat's
Fair's
dead,
one.
Junkrat's dead.
Fair's one.
I'm almost back.
I lost the Pharaoh. I'm
There is drunk. There is drunk.
I'm
I
right
can't. Oh, you were inside.
The Widow's down.
This goes on the far.
Mercy's 151. Oh, never mind.
Mega's hacked.
They
Need it.
got McPhee now. Instead of the Arnold before.
How bad you? How bad you? How bad you?
We have Nano.
This goes on the Orisa. Orisa's 50.
I have ult for you, better.
This goes on the Junkrat. Junkrat's on our monkey.
He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. Mercy's one. Mercy's one.
I'm moving forward on the Orisa.
A respawn point. A respawn
Just
point.
forward on Orisa.
I need help. I need help. Shit. I died.
Low.
There's a respawn point.
Mega attacking an MVP.
We just had a tracer
Okay.
swap and nobody announced it. Come
They don't
on.
have. They don't have.
We're better than that.
Res.
McCree on main road. Junkrat by himself.
Wait, what?
Let's go through tunnel.
High tunnel.
Yeah,
I
time.
killed him. I killed him.
They took me off.
They got a pull out of mech.
He's after me.
Discord on the Ursa.
I got him. I got him.
Ursa's 50. Ursa's
She's
right
looking at me.
there.
She's looking at me. Looking at me.
Okay, let's go back to this.
Yeah, time.
I killed him. I killed him.
They took me off.
They got a pull out of mech.
This right here. You guys are running a dive comp. That's a diveable target. Right? It should not have taken as long as it did to react to McCree being out of position or just announcing where McCree was. Everybody, because the tank is way off over here in La La Land doing tank things. Right? Everybody should have gone in. He has no shield. He's an easy target. He would have been taken out right there. Yes, ultimately you do take him out, but we should have had this call out way earlier, and he should have been dead way earlier.
He's after me.
Discord on the Ursa.
I got him. I got him.
Ursa's 50. Ursa's
She's
right
looking at me.
there.
She's looking at me. Looking at me.
Use guys. Use.
Hey, you need a rehack? Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I'm here.
Good job, guys.
They swapped
We have 3 ults.
swapped fire.
They got Tracer now.
Discord's on the Diva.
Diva, she's like.
Tracer's going. They have a Tracer going.
Tracer's left. Tracer's left.
They recall. They have a McCree in main.
Oh,
I have ult, so I can overextend.
We're still not hearing all
Do you- if
call
you
outs,
wanna-
guys.
Apollo,
EMP
I can't see you, Apollo.
If you want to EP the
They're on point. They're on point. They're on point. They're on point.
Fuck,
Discord's
dude.
on there. Ursa's
I'm
on
gonna no
point.
grenade.
I'm here. I'm here.
Ursa's
I'm gonna
one.
EMP. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Never mind.
Chaser and Mercy on point, but
The
that's it.
resing?
Mercy's resing.
I don't think you need an EMP. We killed like 4.
No, no, I'm not. But I'm still on the cart.
Just not be like stuff like. I'm the rest with you.
Oh my god.
With you.
Diva's
dead.
out.
I'm
They were out.
dead.
I have no MP.
Stop.
See, we should have been anticipating that high noon way earlier at that point.
Sorry.
Yeah,
If
he
you
got
are
nothing
EMP,
out
I
of
can
it.
throw my
But
thing.
again, we're gonna keep beating this point home. These alt callouts are so vitally important as we go into these engagements. We should not be surprised by an alt at any given point.
Don't need
Yeah.
it. That's one.
Yep.
Should clean up
Let's go
though.
back.
No point by point. 20 seconds left. 20 seconds left. 25.
Alright, I have chance for this last fight if we could all fight together.
Yep. I'm gonna EMP it too.
They have no Diva mech still.
Whenever you're ready, Paula.
I'm ready.
Yep. On you.
Now?
10 seconds.
Yep. Go for it. You go first. You go first. You go first.
I had to pop. Chaser was on me. Discord on trans on point. Discord's on the baby diva.
Okay. Take some
Just one.
Good job, guys. That was like the classic salmon noodles combo.
0 to 0. Switching sides. Prepare to attack. Select
I'm just run pirate ship.
Guys, those quiet comms, man, you're killing me.
Hanzo.
Or both.
Or something.
escort the payload.
Y'all know what to do.
They have his Ryan Zarya, and Zarya fell.
Ryan charges, make sure you shift Apollo.
Try to pull him off.
They have monkey too. Break the bubble.
I'm reloading. They don't have a main tank. They don't have any tanks.
They have
Right in
Zarya.
front of me. You see on point?
Oh yeah, I was power boosting.
Huge.
Oh, I died Zarya. Bruh. Poor monkey.
I shot him once a minute.
Fucking Badger pushed him off and he just melted him.
Alright, Hanamura or Volskaya?
I want to do Hanamura, but I'm open to do Volskaya.
I like Hanamura a little more.
Okay, same.
I thought loser picked.
Yeah, so like.
Oh wait, is it?
I was about to say. Alright, cool. Y'all ready?
Oh.
Yeah.
Traveling to Volskaya Industries.
We doing it?
Prepare your defenses. Select your hero.
Will we run on this map?
I think last time I think I played Ashe on defense. Yeah, Ashe. Where did you play, baby?
I don't know, man.
What was mine? Was my Zen or?
Come on, we need to improve on that, guys.
Yeah, yours in.
We should have
Oh,
already
you
had
were
our
on
configuration
defense.
going into it, right? So
Do
we
we
should have
work
said
with Sombra,
Volsky
or-
and it said, all right, let's run this.
Noodles, you
Or
were
we have
you were
3 or 4
Sombra on
different
defense,
combinations
Ashe
that
on
we're ready
attack.
to go
Though.
with going into it.
Does that mean I'm Ashe on?
No, that's backwards.
Backwards?
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember we did the Bob play on defense.
Oh, okay.
I think it was you that was pocketing me. It might have been Kuda.
I'm not one for standing around.
Actually, so, we'll put Sombra. Anyway, fuck it. Put it on Mercy, so.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Never Ryan.
That side. Out.
Fall back to point. Go
Oh,
point.
you know?
My heart is ready.
Where's almost dead?
This is hacked, this is hacked.
They have a Roadhog left side. Roadhog left side.
Push in.
Road's dead. Road's dead.
We need some help.
Where you at?
Bridget,
Front line.
supported.
Oh, never mind.
Got him, coach.
I thought you were Diva or something behind.
I have
was like,
ult.
what?
Dude, those guys got fucked on, man.
Dude, if they keep this comp, they're never gonna come in. Just sitting up two.
They're gonna kill you.
Yeah, on top because they don't have Diva.
Should I save my ult to EMP high noon? Or is that even a thing?
Yeah, focus still.
We'll play EMP Shatter.
You know?
Contact.
Oh, fuck, I got hacked. Or I got,
Watch out, Hog left side.
Split a point.
Ryan's still low.
I'm
Following
discorded.
you. I'm on right.
Noodles should get EMP.
Badger, there's a brick behind y'all.
Rig is discorded.
I need heals.
I got you.
Like,
Double you.
Lucio is discorded.
Hog's behind us, I think, to left side.
Do we need ults?
Hog might be on top of
Lucio's
us.
hacked. Lucio's hacked on top.
He's half.
I think Hog's on me.
Push the Lucio.
Hog-
Push the
Hog-
Lucio.
Hog on me.
He's discorded.
Don't push him too hard, Apollo.
I can't go that far back, buddy.
He's
Play
been
with
playing
us.
so
Come
hard,
to
but
us.
he's
Come to us.
I got him.
Cool. Good job, guys.
I wish I could get up there with you.
Oh, wait. Oh, there's still
Want
a
me
Hog
to
behind
want me to
us.
EMP, Badger?
Yeah, it's
Shadow?
fine, but don't push him.
Just try to be aware of his.
I'll stay with the healer
being-
so I can stun him.
I have grab ready.
The team P shadow first.
Grab's above.
The team P shadow first.
Oh shit.
They're going right side, right side, right side.
Hog side above
Ready?
us.
Hog discorded. Or not Hog.
We didn't-
Right. Oh fuck! Hog got me. Hog's behind y'all.
No healers, no heals, no heals. We're safe.
Stock.
No heals, play backs for a second. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I'm
Probably
using
we called out. Out to grab.
Might be. My bad.
Oh, was that EMP and Shatter and grab?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Oh, I have high noon next fight though.
I have trance.
Coming right side. Coming right side.
On the right side again.
Just
You
enemy.
know?
Anti in the back.
They use double sport.
Doubling you now. Sorry, low.
Lucius dead.
I got killed.
My hog's discorded in the back.
Where's one? Nice.
I got
He got me, he got me.
Got hammered down.
Focus in. Focus in. Now focus on.
Hog.
Hog is discorded.
Grab again.
I was about to say right click him, doodle. Right click him.
We have grab EMP.
But I
And we
didn't
have a
hear, I didn't hear last time. I'll focus on the hog.
Rebecca, remember to use trans as a defensive ult. Oh, if the Zarya
This
ult.
is left side. I'm going back point. Okay, here. Right side. They
Yeah,
go
right
top.
side again.
I think they go in top maybe. Not sure.
They're going top, they're going top, they're
Yeah,
going top. Yep.
that's fine. That's fine. Just play back.
I can make him
Play
C9.
Mega,
I
play
can make
Mega
him
room, play
C9.
Mega room.
If I grab, I make him C9.
No.
Огонь по готовности.
Do it.
I'm grabbing now.
Огонь по готовности.
I have a angry bear heart on me. He's discorded.
He's X. Lucio. This is in, top still.
Discorded. Hog's discorded.
Got him.
This one's on the house.
Hey, good job, guys.
Complete. Score
Yeah, I didn't hear the call.
0.
I was like focusing on the hog.
Switching sides.
You're good. I think honestly, if you didn't do that,
Prepare to attack.
we would have struggled more because you got two in the grab, and I think they were antied or like really
They'll
low.
shatter anyways. Just like easy.
Yeah, that.
Well, also holding it when the fight's over wouldn't have done any good. So I'm glad you used it.
Yeah.
Come on, where's our talk about
Do
what
you
our
have
picks
the
are?
dock open? I don't know what I was on the pack.
Noodles, do we want to go like Sombra Asher or do you want me to go Widow?
On attack, it says Mercy's in.
See, I think you have it backwards. That's what we played on defense last time.
That sounds weird. Okay, so then it would be Lucio Ana.
Yeah. Because last time we played
I think it was
Mercy and then Kudo was, I think it was Kudo that was Mercy. And we kept rotating left and right.
This is the one where everyone got tilted and stopped talking because Beta played Ana.
I played Ana.
Yeah,
Why?
because I guess you thought there weren't enough healing, and so everyone got mad and stopped talking and just picked whatever they wanted. Good
Interesting.
times, dude. Good times.
And
Noodles, I would rather you have play Brig here.
Rig?
Yeah, over here.
Alright.
5, 3, 2, 1.
We just push into him.
Alright.
Right
I'll
side.
flash
We're gonna
the
try to stun
Ryan.
over the shield.
Yeah, I'll flash Ryan and then you shield bash and he's
They have a
dead.
sim. They're running. Get those turrets.
I can't reach him.
I got two of them.
They have a bastion.
Double D.
Oh, yeah,
Should I switch Pharah? I'm gonna go switch Pharah, y'all.
We don't need it.
You could call out
We don't need it. Just. Alright, speed boost right
Go
side.
right
Speed
side.
boost right side. Speed
Right, yeah,
boost.
go right side, all around him.
All the way top
Yeah,
right.
yep.
They teleport up here. They teleport up here.
Oh, good, they're throwing.
Submission one.
Or drop.
Bastion's on behind the tank thing.
He's anti.
Some of the healers. My sword, I think. When you reload,
Oh no, she res.
full charge.
Full charge.
I think that's it, right? 3 games.
Yeah.
Oof.
Is it? I
Isn't
don't
it?
remember.
That's already 3?
That
Yeah.
was 236. Oh wait, sorry.
That was 3 games. Oh my God, Becca.
I thought you meant the time.
Огонь по готовности.
The brig walks in it.
Hog.
Nice win.
Dude, I made 9 people not play the video game. Oh yeah.
It's over?
Yes.
I think so, right? Said 3.
Yeah.
Oh well, they left.
Mhm.
So I guess
All right,
I'll-
so it's hard to unpack when you guys kind of. It's hard to be critical when you guys kind of came out swinging, and obviously you won. It was a rough start, but everybody recovered nicely. They got into their respective roles. It sounded like we've got our paper in front of us saying like what characters we're going to be playing going into these engagements. And it is hard when you have a victory like that where you feel like you completely dominated the battlefield to say like, oh well, we did nothing wrong. We just need to keep repeating to do the thing that we just did. But when you have a win like that is almost when you should be the most critical of yourself. Um, Obviously, there was a rough start going into it. We need to kind of dissect, okay, so what did go wrong during those first engagements? Were we not calling our targets as quickly as we should be? A lot of the play-by-plays, it's hard for us to go into and break down. There's the obvious stuff like the McCree that could have been killed a little bit faster on Route 66. But the big takeaways here, I think that going into our next set of open division matches and going into our scrims and practices is that we need to continue to work on that communication. So let's break down the big points that I wanted to bring out of this, right? First off, pre-match communication. What are we picking? Right? We need to get that conversation going as quickly as possible. It is not something that should be waited on until 15 seconds before the timer runs out. We should already be in having that talk. Who's picking what? Let's go, and then go from there. The between matches that we've got here needs to be an analysis of the enemy team, right? We say, okay, do we think they're going to run the same comp next time? Do they have any habits that we noticed? Like, somebody will say, well, their, DPS is always out of position. Like, focus those DPS to get out of position. We need to have a lot of self-awareness of what the enemy team is doing at all times. Kind of going back to that first map, where Kress is saying, like, hey, Tracer and Hanzo are in the back. Taking that information and making sure that we do something with it and not just sit on it, right? A lot of this stuff that I'm talking about is filling the dead air that we're getting. And I know that I keep coming back to that, but that's things that we saw like in Nepal, where when the tide of battle started going south a little bit, everybody locked up and got real quiet and focused on their engagements, and not trying to go focus the targets that they should be before, right? The communication is key when we're in Route 66 and we're running a dive comp, and it doesn't sound like a dive comp via the comms, right? People are making a couple of call outs, but nobody's truly diving on the enemy team the way that they should be. And these are nitpicky, right? Like, it's nitpicky for me to sit here and do this because y'all won, right? You guys destroyed them. Absolutely. And I'm super proud and super happy to have kind of gotten to sit down and watch this VOD. But again, this is the time that we need to be a little bit more critical of the little stuff as we go into this. So really, we need our homework to be that tightening of our communication. There shouldn't be the dead air. We should be calling our dive targets. And I know, and I promise it'll be the last time that I'll say this during this VOD, but there'll always be next time. Enemy ult counters, man. Enemy ult counters. Like, that's such a big, like, strategic thing to be calling out. Do we think that Ryan has Shatter? Do we think that Brig has Rally? All of these things need to be on the forefront, not just, oh, I've got my ult or I've almost got my ult. We can guess that information from, hitting the tab button, right? But we do need to know what the enemy probably has lined up for us going into that next engagement, because that is the difference between life or death, right? If their Zarya does have Grav and their Hanzo does have dragons, like, that's a wipe, right? You've just lost 30 seconds of a game because nobody was anticipating that those ults were going to be coming out. So let's be very mindful of that going forward. Let's really think about that during our engagements and during our practices when we go into scrims before open division games. Let's get in the habit of doing those enemy callouts for their ultimates, because as we progress further, that's something that will break us, especially because this team was very obsessed with the enemy team thought their win condition was get ults, fire ults, win match. And obviously that's not how that works, because you guys weren't playing into that. But you could have done even more if we were anticipating those enemy ults coming out from the get-go. So that's just some kind of food for thought. Again, I'm really happy to have watched these games and was really excited to hear that you guys kind of came in and swept the whole set of matches. But again, let's do be critical of ourselves. There was that first map that was just a little bit messy, a little bit sloppy. Where could we have tightened our communication in there? And again, this goes back to the key points. Fill the dead air with good information that we are all acting on, and then let's get those alt callouts going. You could tell that we're working so much tighter as a team, and now we're just kind of getting in there and just like polishing it down and getting off the rough edges and all that. So I'm really excited to see what's right around the corner. But do try and take what I'm saying to heart here. I'm not trying to repeat it to, just say it over and over again. These are consistent problems that we have, and if we fix them now, like, we're going to do so much better going forward. Anyways, y'all have a good night.